you ready?
We watched more Overlord. Actually, we're caught up now.
Overlord.
Yes,
Yay.
sir.
Everybody,
Overlord.
we've watched 2 out of the 5 things we need to for Isekai Quartet.
Yay.
No, we've watched 3 of the 5. What are you fucking talking about?
We still have to watch Konosuba, Yojo Senki, and read Shield Hero.
Okay, then we've seen 3 of the 6.
I'm not counting the 3rd season that's not out yet.
Okay, well,
What's happening right
Craftsdwarf, I like to put our numbers at 50% instead of 40% so we can feel better about ourselves.
Craftsdwarf doesn't
Well, I
like
hate
feeling
us
better
and I
about
want us to
himself.
die, so I don't want us
Yeah,
to feel
you
bad
just
about
said
ourselves.
Well, I don't care
because
if
we're
y'all
not
feel
close
good
to
about
I hate you
yourself.
too.
No,
I hate
I
you
don't
too,
care
to
if
be
y'all
honest.
feel good about yourselves.
And
but
if you want to feel good about yourself, you can just point out that Overlord's the longest thing that we had to get to.
Okay, alternatively, I just look for any excuse to jack
Sword Art
myself
Online
off.
Alternative?
So I don't see the problem.
Shut up, Vindy. Nobody wants to hear you. I hate you.
So
You should be quiet.
we're gonna get into spoilers relatively quick because, like, obviously we already have a whole Overlord discussion.
Guys, let's get into non-spoiler discussion for seasons 2 and 3
Okay.
of a show.
Well, I
Season
wanted to
2,
point out.
mid-season
Well,
3
what I
good.
wanted to. Yeah, that's what I want to say is, like, okay, if I wanted to talk about it at least if for some reason you still haven't tried it, like, are seasons 2 and 3 like worth the admission if you didn't like 1? And it's like they're better, but if you didn't like season 1, I don't think season 2 and 3 would like make you like it more, if that makes sense. So
Actually, I
Make
would
you
say I
hornier.
think season 2, and I'm gonna explain why I didn't like it as much. I think season 2 is kind of super removed from season 1, and we'll talk about why. But there's some things in season
Season 2 made me
2
horny.
that I think make it kind of different enough that, like, I could see someone liking season 2 if they didn't like season 1 for certain reasons. But season 3, yeah, you definitely have to like season 1 to probably really enjoy it.
No,
So-
but Vindy, it have bad CG, meaning it's automatically bad.
Okay, we'll get to it.
the CG doesn't improve even though like 5 years have passed since it started, or
no,
like 3
no, it doesn't.
years, or I
Madhouse
don't
didn't
know.
give a fuck.
It still doesn't look. It's yeah. Anyway, spoilers.
Yeah.
Wait, we didn't talk about what we're watching next, idiot.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Whatever. Tamako. Yeah.
We're okay. So
Yeah,
next
explain
time,
your
guys,
pick,
we're
what?
watching Tamako Market and Tamako Love Story because we want to watch more KyoAni stuff as well. And I haven't seen Tamako Market or Tamako Love Story, so now's
Neither
our
have I.
chance to do it.
Me
We're gonna
neither.
do it. We're gonna watch it because
Oh,
everybody
so
talks about this
so,
one.
so this is a KyoAni show none of us have seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's rare.
I'm
Huh,
excited
cool.
because I love Yamada.
Dude, did you know that Yamada Naoko is fucking like, she's a young director? Did you guys know that?
Did
That's
I ask?
crazy. It's great, guys.
She's
Did
young.
you
That
know?
means Crafts likes her.
The Yamada. Oh,
Spoilers.
3D pig disgusting.
spoilers. Hey guys,
man.
guys, I'm gonna shake the joke hat.
Ha ha!
Hold
Lizard
on.
sex. Ha ha!
Yo,
Vindy's a
hold on,
scaly.
I'm
Ha
gonna
ha!
shake
I'm so funny.
Thank you
Vindy.
for joining us for the worst episode of the Weeb Club Backlogs.
So,
Leave
Vindy.
now.
Here's the thing, Vindy, you've trapped yourself. You can't blame me for making these jokes because you've done it to yourself. It's just like if there was an idol in a show, I would immediately expect you guys to make fun of me for the idol.
How
show.
did I wait? How were those comparable in any way?
No! Shut up! Be quiet. Shut your mouth. So anyway,
No, how are
now
those?
listen,
No.
During the Beastars discussion, all
Let
this
me be
man guy
serious.
did was talk about how horny he was for animals the entire time. Me and Craftsdwarf didn't do it, but Vindy did. And then on Twitter, all I see is this man jerking off to alligators and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? And then on top of that, we get to fucking Cautious
As we
Hero,
know,
and
phobias
this
are
man's a
generally
fucking-
like rooted in sexuality. Therefore, Vindy's phobia of snakes is part of his deep-rooted scaly.
No.
And then on top of
desires.
that, we get to
That's
Cautious
not
Hero. The
true
man's just a
either.
fucking scaly.
Yeah,
So,
Vindy,
like,
you make fun of Vor ironically.
When was I a scaly? Wait,
Are you
what?
fucking
kidding me?
Wait,
Are
okay,
you
my
fucking
mind's-
kidding me?
I
Are you
can't-
fucking
okay.
kidding me?
We
Shut
have,
up,
three
Vindy.
things to talk about.
Listen.
First of all,
Vindy. No, shut up. No,
I would
shut
not
up. You
make fun of
lost your
war
rights.
unironically. That's ironic. Second
Furries
of all,
and Scalys don't have rights.
what's
Furries and
Scaly
Scalys don't
and
have rights. Furries
Cautious
and Scalys
Hero?
don't have rights. Shut up.
Cautious Hero Dragon Queen. Who the fuck is this? I
God,
don't
he's
remember.
looking it up. Shut up, dude. Shut up.
I
God.
didn't make scaly jokes about this dragon. in
You
Cautious
did.
Hero.
You. God.
No. The furry. I remember the furry joke I made in Cautious Hero. Now there was the really really cute night lady, and the title of her episode called her a dog, and I said I love this dog lady, which was again a continuation of the furry.
Do you hear
joke.
this man backpedaling so hard? Dude, that's fucking crazy.
That's not a backpedal. That's me again quoting what I say in the show.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care what you say.
Okay,
So
so
also, no, hold on. I get a chance to defend myself, motherfuckers.
No, you don't.
If
No,
y'all
you
are gonna
don't.
say,
No, you don't.
"Oh, you're Vindy, you make jokes about," what do I make jokes about all the time? It is not being a furry or a scaly or whatever. I make jokes about wanting women to beat the shit out of me. That, yeah. If there's a girl who comes in who's a punchy lady who could beat the shit out of someone, then it's fair to be like, "Oh yeah, Vindy, yeah." The same way.
You've made you've made the most furry and scaly jokes in this fucking podcast.
Okay. That
So
doesn't
you
mean
asked-
that.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
That doesn't mean
no.
anything.
No. Yeah, it's warranted.
You've
You
made the
deserve
most unfunny jokes on this podcast. Does that mean your fetish is people being unfunny? Guess that's why you like
mean-
Nijigasaki.
That's fucking crazy. Why are you getting mad, dude? Are you fucking getting mad? Holy shit.
I'm
so
not.
today on the seasonal, we saw that
unfunny
one
things, I'd be
drop
into Ichigo
meme
100%.
where like I'm like dead looking at a phone while What and Vindy are arguing in the background, and that's just like that's just this episode.
No, I'm
Vindy, if
now.
I was
Look-
into unfunny things, I'd be jacking off to Ichigo 100%, dude. So like, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
What's unfunny about Satsuki? She's just hot.
See, do you see what I mean? You're fucking just.
How is that what you mean? Satsuki
just
isn't
fucking-
a furry lady. She's a hot lady.
You make me sick.
I
You
mean,
make
with
me
that art
disgusting.
style, she's probably a lizard person.
Yeah, probably. If I'm being honest, yeah.
What about that? No.
No, she's probably fucking lizard lady, dude. You're fucking into lizards.
Okay.
That makes sense, dude.
First of all, how is this what this episode has become?
Well,
second of
because
all-
here's the thing: in Overlord season 2, this show unironically has a lizard sex scene between two lizard men. No, so we got
A lizard man and a
second.
lizard lady. Excuse you.
What? Okay, I'm sorry.
God.
I'm
God.
sorry. Okay.
Look at how fucking hot she is. Oh my
Why are we?
god.
We're not talking about
Oh
shit.
my
Chico
God.
100%.
No, we're talking about
Shut
Overlord's
up.
lizard people, not Ichigo 100%'s
Oh my
lizard people.
God.
God, Vinny's being unfunny once again. Holy shit.
Oh
Anyway.
my god. Dude.
Anyway.
I forgot how hot Satsuki
See-
was. Jesus Christ.
Dude, so anyway, we're gonna ignore Vinny for a second. Overlord season 2 spent
Mid as fuck.
almost four or five episodes on scaly politics. And not gonna lie, the moment I saw that shit, it was actually one of the most interesting things ever for me watching, because I was like, holy fuck, we're actually doing this. We're unironically spending fucking four
See, I thought it was
kind of
like and then it got like I loved when Ainz like he like fucking freezes the whole swamp, and he just like he makes like a fucking like stepladder of fucking skeleton soldiers, like the presentation on this guy, and then just he just completely like shuts them down, and then like later he's like spying on them, and he's like, where's that one night lizard guy? Oh fuck, he's having lizard sex, and that was the funniest part of the show.
Part was like he's like no, so like he's got all the fucking floor guardians with him there, so he's like, haha. I know what I'll do. I can use this spell to spy in their room. They're like, Sasuga in Sama, and he fucking does it, and then like immediately does this. He like fucking tabs out, and they're all fucking like panicking, like, maybe it's natural, how shameful. And then fucking he's like, how am I gonna explain this to the two of them? They're so young.
I have to explain babies to Mana and Ara, great. And then like there's the other part about how like he says like, oh well they're they only have so much time to live. So then they're like, oh, Sasuga Ainz, and like they're sucking his bony skeleton dick.
Dude, as this show goes on, you realize that more and more of Overlord is just Ainz fucking just bullshitting his way out of everything, and then them just responding with Sasuga Ainz.
Well, I love the running joke where like Ainz will like do something or say something, and everyone's like, yeah, and Demiurge goes, ha, you plebeians, you tiny brains, you don't understand the depth of Ainz's giga brain, his galaxy brain, and Ainz is like, What?
No,
I mean,
do.
go ahead. Explain my secret gigabrain plan. That is news to me. And then Devier does it. He's like, yeah, he wants to fucking like kill everyone in the world and enslave them. And he's like, what?
So I love that scene in season 3 when they're like sitting there. It's like, no, I forgot if it was season 2 or season 3 where Devier is like, finally, your true plan has come to fruition, and I'm just like, yes, my true plan. And David just like, yes, isn't that right? Albino's like, yes, you're so smart and hot, Ein-sama. Ein's like, yeah, you know, like that one. And Demir just like, yeah, like that one time you said that. He's like,
yeah, that one time. He's like, yeah, I love that one time.
Yeah, and he's like, explain the one time.
That one time.
It's so funny because it went on for like fucking 5 minutes. He was like, yeah, that one time. Wink, wink.
What did Krause you think when he grabbed the little child right on their hips at one point? Einz did.
I don't remember.
That was a Craftsdwarf moment.
They
dude.
were on a fucking.
That wasn't Craft. That reminded me of that one time Craftsdwarf went out driving with Nunmanji, and then
Okay,
shut the fuck up.
So.
No. So anyway, I wanted to get back to the thing because there was that one. So like the whole lizard fucking Scaly politics shit. I love the fact that for a while we get it's like whatever, and then it's like Cocutus is just like, all of you are gonna die, bye. And then they're like, okay, we gotta unite with the other tribes. So he goes to the one tribe, and the first thing this man does when he sees female is awooga. Like, actually, unironically, awooga.
He just immediately starts simping hard. Yeah.
Dude, he actually squeals. He literally goes, Aah! I fucking started laughing my ass off. It was so funny. He went Vindy mode. He went, Aah!
I was gonna make a like WattheWut sees idol like neuron activated like.
No, when WattheWut see idol, what happens is he starts crying first.
You literally go awooga, like you've literally done that, like in Wolf House. You've literally done that, and Vindy hasn't. And like.
What are you talking about?
I would never be cringe enough to actually unironically say awooga. So you're right.
Well, no, you wouldn't say awooga. You just make you just go, woo! And just fucking make a bunch of fucking noises, like primal noises. That's what you would do. Yeah. You don't have the ability. You don't have the cognitive ability to like form the words.
Instead, I start grunting.
Yeah, like caveman. No, but that was so funny because that entire scene was supposed to be like serious. They're like about to die, and every other second they were like, please fuck me. And she's like, oh my god, that's so hot.
Me one cave woman beat my ass.
And it was like, that was the scene. It was so funny. And then they like go to the one dude's, the dragon fang. And then the guy's like, yo, so like, if you lose, I'm taking your woman. And the guy's neurons activates. It's like, no, you will not take my woman. I'm marrying her. I love her so much. And they like fight for like 5 minutes, and like the guy punches him, and he's like, "Ow, my hands freeze a little bit. Okay, you win. Let's drink now." Like, I don't know. I like what Overlord does that I kind of like is gets me like kind of interested in these people that like these normal people that just like that Ainz eventually like either like interacts with later on, and like gets you invested in them.
Yeah, it's definitely the interplay between the normal people who are encountering like God basically. And those because like especially that's even kind of true within Ainz and his group with what we were talking about earlier with how they see Ainz as being really great and in a way that he actually isn't, but he still has to play that role. Like he's doing fucking like Overlord practice, and he's like oh yeah, I sat in that chair in a really Overlord kind of way. Dude, and then Mario was like, God, I want to fuck you, and he's like, yeah, I did it. Like,
dude, it was so funny when like he sat down in his fucking chair, and in his mind he goes, yeah, I did that correctly. And then literally somebody fucking saw him do it, and they were like, oh my god, you sat in that chair so fucking badass, holy shit. And then Albedo's like, God, you're so fucking hot. And then one of them just fucking went, Sasuga Ein-sama. That's fucking every scene, and it's so funny every time.
Well, I also liked when they're like trying to decide his like king name, and they're like, oh, you're wise, so wise king. Oh, you're beautiful, so beautiful. And he's like cringing himself to death. Like he keeps having the spell trigger because he's just like, and it's because he's having emotions and he needs to stop. And
oh my god, dude, Dude, so like I love how season 2 was the simp season where everybody was simping. Like
Except
like,
me.
I don't know. I like the arc of because it was basically like the second two novels that were adapted with the criminals and Sebas and Tuare. I think
that was that whole thing with Sebas I thought was pretty fun. I like that.
I ended up liking Sebas and I was into that. So yeah.
Man's literally like fucking like I will fight for my lady, just going around beating the shit out of people. And I'm just like, dude, I told you not to amass attention, and here you are just beating people up in the street. What did I tell you? And he's like, but boss, I found woman, I found lady. And he's like, I'm just like, okay, kill her then. Kill her if you have loyalty.
Well, like,
to
and
me.
the other thing about it is because, like, you know, he's like a butler. Like, he's not like at the like. I think if it says that there's like, oh, there's like 41 people who are stronger than me, and like, because the actual masters of the Nazarick. And so, like, he's technically speaking one of the weaker ones, but he's still, like, so far above everyone. Like, Gloss is like, shit, this guy's probably the strongest warrior in the kingdom. And, like, he fights all their criminals. They're like, oh, let's send all these badass guys to him. And he just, like, fucking makes mincemeat out of him. And, right, it's so, like, I just love the constant, like, I just reread the One Punch Man webcomic, too. And I just like the whole, like, person who is confident that they're at the top sees that they are.
Sebas saying the 41 people, that number came up again. Wasn't that how many divine beings were in Nazarick?
Yeah, that's what
Craftsdwarf
said.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
No, Crafts was saying that he's weaker compared to all the floor guardians.
You're right. I made a mistake. Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, I thought Craftsdwarf was saying
no.
No, Vindy's right. I was wrong.
Because I thought he was talking about the divine beings then. My bad. We all fucking, wow.
Well, no, because Ainz is the only one left, and
right. Because oh my god, I think Demiurge said the same 41 number in season 3.
No, you're right. Yeah, I forgot. Because I remember it coming up, but I was trying to remember, and yeah, I misread it, and
you're good.
Didn't. Yeah.
Just doing it before the comments could. I guess to say like my biggest problem, I think with season 2 as a whole is like my favorite parts of Overlord, all have to do with Ainz. So, like, I really like something that kind of was a big deal, more so in Season 2, and then you see him learn the lesson for Season 3, where he realizes that, like, the members of Nazarick want him to punish them when they, make mistakes. Like,
yeah, they want him to be the Overlord.
Right.
And
like,
so,
that was a plot point in the beginning of Season 2, was that Shaltir would feel better if he punished her for the mistakes she made. And then you see that later on, where he punishes Sabus, he punishes Cocutus. He starts punishing people for making mistakes, even though you can tell he doesn't really think it's that big a deal. And then, so I like that aspect of him a lot. And then, yeah, again, him trying to train to be this Overlord. And I also think one of the most interesting things to me is the way that his mindset has changed as he got brought into the new world, and I want to see more from that. So, like, there's a lot of talk about he didn't feel bad for killing humans across the 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah, like, he literally had Demiurge, kidnap 100,000 people for use in experimentation, and then then shit happened in season 3.
Dude,
and he's like,
yeah,
I don't give a shit.
Fucked. That was so.
Well, season 3 starts to like humanize the people who suffer and give them like very obviously like death flaggy kind of stuff, but it's still like you fucker.
and so I think that helps, like, the idea he doesn't care. And then season 3 goes really hard into showing that like the main characters are watching are the evil ones, right? Even though, and again, that's what I think is the coolest part is. Or maybe my favorite thing that I hope gets more is the fact that, like, you have fucking, Ainz, and anytime he actually has, like, human emotions, it puts him in check with that green light, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the spell, right? Or whatever, yeah.
And I want to see if, like, he just gets used to that, or at a certain point does he overcome that and, becomes, like, kind of himself again? Past just the green light. Because he kind of had
the moment in the second arc of season 3 where he, like, the one guy lies and kind of implies that maybe one of the other divine beings allowed him into Nazarick, and then Ainz like entertaining him, but then once it was like obvious that he was lying, he showed really strong emotions for a good like minute of just like fucking mauling, and then the spell kicked in, so like maybe if there's precedent for him possibly overcoming the spell is what I'm trying to, because that's like way different than like he was cringing at getting told he's the strong king, and the spell triggers versus like he rants for like 5 minutes and then the spell triggers, right?
What I
So,
also like is that like it's starting to like a big thing is that he's trying to like give the floor guardians like their own like with Cocytus, right? He wanted him to figure out what he needed to do instead of just following orders blindly. Or like a lot of these floor guardians are like a lot of season 2 is them like connecting with the normal people in some way. Like Cocytus didn't wanted Ainz to revive the fucking Lizardmen because he's like I respected them as warriors because that's his thing. He's a warrior and he saw them having that kind of spirit.
oh yeah,
He's
and
like,
you had Sebas with Tuare and kind of like evoking his creators do good things mentality, and he just gets attached to this one woman and he's like I want to help her, and for no reason other than his whim, and then
there's a lot of that going on, which I find is really interesting. Where they're like they're almost like becoming more like they're learning to become more like their creators almost. We're like more human, right? In the process of doing these things, or like connecting with humans more so.
Yeah, and well, like, because one thing I do kind of like is I feel like you kind of sometimes get, or maybe I'm just, thinking of other things I've heard about and not seen, but like, again, with the way that they're humanizing certain people who are like definitely going to die in season 3, like they're just making it kind of like, they don't see, we saw some of the human experimentation with the heroes, but like for the innocents, we didn't really see that. Because like at the end of the day, we're still supposed to on some level be on Ainz's side.
Right.
And like, it is very affable as like a bad guy, like, with the presentation and the way he's like merciful towards his cohorts. But also like then there's the girl in season 3 who's like, oh, I just want money for my family, and because we're no longer noble, like, we're like poor nobles now, and she has the sisters who like we get the one scene where like, God, I can't wait for our sister to come home. She's
fucked.
definitely not dead.
That was so
like,
fucked. Well, you know what? I found out something even worse though, because I went and fucking found out what happened to them after that.
Oh no, don't.
You know what? You want me to tell you? Because it's really fucked.
They get sold into sex slavery by their dad.
Yeah, and then they die.
Really?
Yeah.
Sad.
Actually, fucked.
I literally guessed the worst thing I could think of. Like, I literally guessed the worst thing I could think of.
Why is Craftsdwarf laughing about that?
I'm laughing because Vindy guessed it, and it was right. That was funny. That
they get sold into slavery and they die of overwork. Yeah, that's how they...
That's fucked. Well, because then you also had, like, it didn't happen, but the one noble guy, where he's, like, being really adorable with his son, and I'm like, oh, this guy's so fucking dead.
But he didn't. But thank God he didn't die.
Not yet.
Like, holy
not
shit.
yet. There's
not yet.
There's
well,
more.
As of now, I'm like,
right. I know.
God.
But I'm just saying.
My heart was saved
like,
for another day.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh man, this because he's like he's like comes to like that he was like at a rivalry with Gazef, or like Gazef thought he was just another shitty noble. And then he's like, oh no, I actually respected you, and like they come to terms, and like this noble guy's so dead, like not yet, but he will be.
Dude, this entire this show really fucks with the way you view. Like it was so hard for me to be on board with Ainz during that part where the fucking guild was there. When we spent so much time with this guild and all their struggles and how like, oh my god, now they're actually like really cool people, and then you just watch him brutalize them. Fucking let the one girl who's fucking wants to run away with her little sisters fucking fly away, and then all of a sudden realize that's not fucking, it doesn't matter because Shaltir just fucking grabs her and fucking sucks her blood.
And also they were inside the whole time. She thought they were outside.
Suck my blood.
Apparently like in the webcomic there was like a thing where it was like they were mad that she web novel, and they fucking like they wanted that one girl back, so Shaltir made her a fucking slave, a fucking vampire slave, yeah.
Sad.
Albedo hot too. Nabe hot.
I can't. Well,
I
can't wait till Vindy finds out which one I like, because then I'll fucking. It's just fucking self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. But it was like that. That whole episode was just really hard to fucking like watch. I was like, holy shit, stop it. Like it gets harder and harder sometimes to be on Ainz's side sometimes with the shit he does. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're definitely building to, like, that's the question, is what exactly are they building to? I don't even know how, like, I assume, there's a notable amount of volumes out, and I don't know when season 4 is going to happen, but, it's obviously an ongoing story, so that is the question.
Yeah, I mean, so, I was gonna say another thing that I like when Ainz and I guess Nazarick is evolved more so than the other people. I don't even dislike the other people. Right? Like I liked Climb. I like the blue haired guy who's cool.
Brain. Yeah.
Brain. Yeah.
Rain.
But I love the slice of life moments where it's like them and Nazarick, and you get like
if there was more of those, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you get like Shaltier and Albedo like fighting over who gets to fuck Ainz's dick off, his skeleton dick, and then there's like the moment where Albedo just jumps him and like tries to rip his clothes off, and then they try to send the assassins on her, and she like blows him back. Like it's good, you know. Those are like my favorite parts, and that was the one thing that like season 1 had a lot of. That was like what got me through season 1 when I wasn't completely enjoying it, or it wasn't I think going as hard into some of these things. Was like I like Ainz a lot. Like legitimately, I actually really like Ainz, and I want to see more of him because I think he's really interesting. He has these really cool ideas that I want to see more of. And then I also just like most of the members of Nazarick. Like, I like Cocutus. I think he's funny. I like Shaltier and Albedo a lot, mainly because they're hot. I think there's, like, some interesting stuff going on with the maids. Like, there's that one point where they're talking about humans' names, and Nabe's like, you guys remember their names? And all the other maids are like, yeah, I kind of like humans. And then you see Nabe throughout, like, later on in the season, like, there's, or I think it's the same season. It might be the next season. I think it's the next season, actually, where the girl who becomes the chief of the village, she comes in. Yeah, and like, Nabe jumps on the thing to ask her some questions, and then, like, legitimately sits down and has a conversation with her and gets flattered when not only is Nabe praised, but another maid is as well, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I think there was, like, some good stuff there that I, like, legitimately really enjoyed.
I actually really like the because I like how they humanize the other characters too, because then it's even more interesting when the fucking Nazarick people interact with them.
Oh yeah, no, like another moment I remember as far as like Ainz being affable, you know, like because I couldn't help but think about it is at the end of the Goblin arc in season 3, Enri's little sister is like, oh boy, cool castle, and Ainz is like just being a dad, and he's like, oh yeah, you want to see the cool shit in the castle, and like, and it's like, but this like 5 floors below you, there's like children being experimented on, but this one is fine, and it's just like it's so that sort of like divide, and you know that's just
he looked at her and then went, oh, I gotta remind Lupus Regina to add another one to the list of
I forgot about that.
Actually like can live. Like, I was like, oh. Like, there was an entire part of that episode where he was like, I gotta figure out this menu to what would be good for a child to eat as children are being fucking experimented on down the fucking basement, but like, what would the children like to eat, you know, what would be good for them?
Right, and when you hear the menu, it's just like super complex shit, and like, yeah, what would be good for a child to eat?
Dude, I heard that shit, and I was like, my brain turned off halfway through that. And I was like,
it was like a full-on fucking fantasy menu, which is cool. I like fantasy menus, but also like, goddamn, that was a lot. Well, it's part of, I guess part of it is because there was like it felt like a full minute of food menu, and it's like in a book it would be like a page, right? But
Jesus Christ. No, another thing was cool is, I like how I really like, because my favorite parts of the story when like, you know, again, the normal people interact with Nazarick, because then like we get scenes like in the end of season 2, right, where that one where they're like fighting against, like, because Demiurge decides to just fuck around but fucking just like start destroying shit, right, and I like how like Ainz shows up as Momon, right, and they're fucking pretending they're like fighting all out and shit. And then they literally go inside the building and they're like, hey, so you want to tell me what's going on? Oh yeah.
It was also good where you have like Nabe and the maid, like she's gonna fight the maids, but then they just like fuck off and like they're chatting and like occasionally throwing out like a spell to make it sound like they're still fighting, and they're just like chilling.
And they're like, okay, we gotta hurt you.
Well,
now.
that was interesting because I was wondering like, oh fuck, because at that point we don't know, because at that point I think the only Momon and Nabe know, or Ainz know that Momon, they're the same, but then we find out that like they did reveal, because I don't remember what, like that didn't.
They found out they did know because like Demiurge, I guess at some point they told him.
No, they like that was revealed during that arc, right? Is what I'm saying. That they did, like cause throughout the rest of season 2 and season 1, we weren't aware of when they found out that he was Momon, because I'm pretty sure that he was keeping that a secret at first. So,
God, you know.
Well, I also liked probably one of the more interesting that happened, or at least for me, was at the end of season 3 when you have Momon facing down Ainz in public. Dude, and he's like kind of, well, because like what I kind of felt like he was doing is he's like because Gazef, did kind of the same thing where he dueled him, but he decided to keep to his integrity and like, yeah, even if people are going to die, he is going to fight and refuse to bow down because that's who he is. And also he wants to give the other people a chance to maybe learn more about Ainz's ability and possibly defeat him, rather than let humanity be forced to do the same thing and bow down. But he almost like replicates it as Momon, but instead of like replicating, he's sort of like, oh, this is what you should have done, almost, where Momon does concede and, he's doing the best he can under Ainz. And which is also part of a Gigabrain plan for now. People can rally under Momon if they need to, but he's just Ainz,
right.
so it's
that's what he's doing, right? He's kind of creating this like
false
false
hero
hope
for them.
Yeah, he's creating a hero for them, but it's a hero that he controls. And what makes that such a powerful tool, right? Because like I think that there's like this cool aspect throughout what we've seen of Ainz learning more and more to be kind of this hero or a leader. And so he's kind of learning that like there's even moments where he's like, I'm not going to rule them through fear because that won't work. They'll want to rebel. And so by creating this hero who can maybe show that what Ainz, like, because if he creates a hero, right, who is stated that the moment that Ainz is unjust to the people, he'll turn. If Ainz doesn't become unjust to the people, they kind of have a glimpse of that with their hero, right? And so it allows them to more peacefully and happily live under Ainz's rule.
Yeah.
Well, because he's already gained the support of like almost everyone in the kingdom through Momon. Like everybody like loves Momon, right? Especially fucking Evil Eye. Evil Eye loves the shit out of Momon, dude.
Oh, that was funny. When she's
so
just
hard.
like she just sees him fighting and she's like, God, I want to fuck him.
No, because she's such a bitch to everybody else, and then she sees him, she's like, holy shit, I want to fucking jump his bones.
I think the most interesting characters, though, in terms of that, is that village. The, was it Carne Village?
Yeah, where Enri's the chief of now, even though she doesn't want to be called chief.
You have Enrian, fucking emo hair boy, who,
yes. I forget his name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Whose entire, like, thing is, like, that they respect Ainz and care about Ainz, and, like, they're following him willingly. And then now, all of a sudden, Enri just pulled out, like, the strongest army,
goblin army of all time.
Yeah,
dude.
just like all of a sudden, like this Chad goblin army comes out of nowhere in this place that I'm sure we haven't seen the last of.
Well, like I'm sure because Ainz didn't understand that was an ability of the item he gave her. I assume that how it works is like because she has strong bonds with the goblins, she was able to summon more of them.
That's what I assumed as well.
Yeah. Right, okay. Gotcha. I was just
because they came out and were instantly on her side.
Yeah, and like the fact, and it just fits because she summoned the first goblin, she befriended them, and then she summoned like where obviously like I guess no player of the game like obviously there's no like bond you can really make with the goblins I guess because it's a video game, I don't know, but she was able to she did like she surpassed Ainz in a small way even off so that was cool.
It's almost like the story really hinted like the bond shit a lot where it's like forming bonds instead of like what you're supposed to be doing.
No, I mean, I think we mentioned at the end of Overlord Season 1 that, like, we felt like some of the setup was out of the way, and now Overlord could get to kind of the meat of it. And then part of my problem is I feel like most of Season 2 was, again, still setup. And even I think this season, like Season 3, was also a lot of, like, kind of setup as well.
Well, they only adapt, like, 2 volumes at a time.
No, it's 3 volumes a season. 3 volumes a season.
Well, and what I was going to ask is, like, because, I don't know what is the scale of this story? Because how far are we through like the whole thing now is my question because like Ainz is now like very public.
But I could see this being the end of Act 1, right? Now he has a kingdom.
Right, this is the inciting incident story. Ainz takes over Rontel and now
dude, he mind broke that one wizard man out of loving his fucking emperor's son or whatever, dude.
Would be insane, by the way, if 3 seasons
is Act 1, right? That's
Act
like
1.
Well, that was because when I remember when I watched ReZero, because it was really cool, but I was like, fuck, I want one of these isekai stories that's also fucking over, and none of them are.
No.
Like, very few. And, like, one of the Familiar of Zero is, like, the only one that I know of to be over, and it's not an anime, and that's because the author died, and someone else, like, finished the story from their notes. Like, so like none of these stories are over. Sword Art Online isn't over. It's going into its last arc is ongoing in the light novels. Like, Overlord still has a long way to go. ReZero seems to have a long way to go. It's like, fuck.
Honestly, one of the craziest arcs from what I actually read, from what I understood of Unital Ring, by the way. Holy shit.
I love Elden Ring.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I thought you were gonna say like I want to pound Kirito's Unital Ring.
I want to pound Evil Eye. What?
Yeah, I mean, Overlord continues to have really hot girls. Well, not super hot girls, but girls with massive tits.
I want to pick up Evil Eye and what?
Albedo's super hot. Dude, it hinted some shit at her like at the end of season 2, and then we didn't get any of it in season 3, and I need to see it. You know what I'm talking about? Where like it hinted that there was shit going on with her.
I forgot about that actually until you mentioned it. I want to remind
again.
There's a moment in season 2 where she kind of hints that she's dissatisfied with the fact that Ainz isn't paying her enough attention or doing enough for her.
Yes, thank you, Vindy, for explaining that moment that we all definitely remembered and you didn't. I fucked it up.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, no, I was gonna say it's like I actually watched season 2 like a few weeks ago, because we delayed this recording. So I forgot.
No, we didn't. We were always supposed to record this week.
No, we were supposed to record last week.
No.
Yes.
Craftsdwarf. 2 weeks ago today, we recorded
Gara versus Road.
Which
Road. Was supposed to record it the week before.
No. Yes.
We delayed Gara versus Road twice.
Yeah, but then when we recorded Gara versus Road, we always said we're going to wait 2 weeks for Overlord. So from the time we recorded the last backlog, this one wasn't delayed.
Are we like delay scaling right
Vindy,
now?
when I started Overlord season 2, we hadn't even recorded Gara versus Road yet.
Okay, but that's
I started Overlord season 2 expecting to record it last week.
I don't know what you want from me.
I'm just trying to say, this is why I watched it so long ago relative to you guys.
Well, anyway.
I don't have anything else to say.
What would you guys say is the best OP of the 3 seasons?
OP2. Or OP1.
Sure? I don't know, because I kind of felt... I
thought all 3 were fine. I don't think any of them were like super goated.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Veracity was a Myth and Roid opening, and I was kind of feeling it for a bit.
I do like Myth and Roid, so I was into it. I think all the OPs are fine, but I'm not super into any of them.
No, Veracity has that part where Albedo and Shelty are fucking like...
Oh, that's the best part of that OP.
Yeah, that's what makes it better than the other 2.
My favorite like musical part of any of the OPs is the second one, where it shows like the female characters and it's like something crazy, something like crazy. That's my favorite part of like musically of any of the OPs, but I don't know. I don't think the OPs are that great. I mean, even like production wise, I think the show as a whole, it's not bad, right? And if you complain about the CG in season 3, you're stupid. Because like, yes, there's a lot of it, but we're talking about arcs where the scale is like,
oh no, it's necessary. It's
thousands of
good.
people.
And it hasn't improved since season 1. Is the other thing for me.
Oh
yeah.
You know what? Speaking of that, when fucking Ainz just annihilates 700,000 people.
Oh, yeah,
it was 7,000, not 700,000.
No, it
was 70,000. You're both
70,000. Wrong. It was between there. 70,000.
Average
right?
out what I said and you got.
So
don't say that the average is 700,000.
The Emperor was funny because he's like, oh, well, that little dark elf killed like 100 people. Therefore, Ainz can probably kill like 2,000 or 3,000. So we'll get to see. And he just like kills 70,000 people. And they're like, holy shit. And he's like, oh, that was just a tribute cost. Like,
and then fucking he's like, my lovely baby goats. And these fucking hell monsters come out of the fucking... He's like, I summoned 5. Everybody clap.
I did more than any other mage has done. Awesome. Dude, and then
when he Jeff bushes out, it's so funny.
He literally said, "Everybody clap."
I also like because then the one of the goats starts coming towards the army, and the frantic clapping increases. Like, and then they fucking just panic and run because they're terrified. They're scared shitless. Like,
dude, like the sense of like hopelessness of every single normal person in the world of Overlord by the time that arc ends is fucking crazy. Like, you feel that shit.
Well, the whole plan was like, yeah, we're gonna get people, everyone's gonna unite against Ainz, and it's like,
It does the opposite. They're
we
fucking
don't
scared.
stand a fucking chance.
Man fucking waved his hand a little bit and everybody fucking died.
It's definitely poggers.
The fucking Kingdom Swordsman fucking died instantly against him. Like, what the...
Like, a fucking tiny village that he gave one item to was able to successfully repel the fucking prince and, like, a small army. Like, and then Ainz himself, in one spell, takes out over 200,000 people.
Well, I love the way Ainz is in this shit, because he's, like, Ainz is talking about it treating it like it's, like, actual PvP, right? Like, there's a line he says where, he like, when he's setting up for his duel with the guy, he's saying, like, okay, so we're doing PvP, but items get returned to the owner after. And then
even before when he does his big spell, he's like, normally the first priority is to attack casters who are using world-class magic or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, there's no players here.
And then there's the moment where he uses the time stop magic at the start of the duel, and he says the first goal of a duel should be to stop time magic.
Time stop magic, yeah.
Yeah. Or to counter time stop magic or whatever. And like,
this game is broken as shit.
Yeah, well, you even see that because Shaltir used time alteration magic as well. Like, it's clear that, like, you know, the level again, and I mean, it's because it keeps being brought up that every normal person we see on the world is on the level of an NPC, and then you have, you know, the people that were made by the Supreme Beings, so all the Floor Guardians are people that were you know, they were made by other people as, like, companions, but they still aren't on the level of the actual players of the game. The only difference is now we have the people that are on the level of, like, an NPC in a normal game are, like, sentient and have their own thoughts and feelings. Same with the other levels. It's just that, like, it's almost like now we can see what it would be like if you were an NPC in, like, World of Warcraft, right? And you see these fucking...
Oh, see, my thought is there's actually... There's actually, like, a rule set for Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. There's, like, a setting or a kind of game type where the level for the entire setting caps at, like, level 8. The reason being is that that's where, like, all the main classes are, like, balanced with each other. Because, like, in higher levels, wizards can just do anything, and in lower levels, they're really soft and squishy. So it's pretty imbalanced. But, like, at level 8, all of them are pretty even. So what my thought was, like, okay, Overlord is like this, but then there's just, like, level 20 players. And they just break all the rules, relatively speaking, and can just do everything, where the rest of the world is just stuck at level 8, basically.
Well, I'm just coming up with this because we know it was an MMO, which is why I'm thinking, like...
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, we both came at from our different, like, angles, yeah.
You know what's even crazier, that I just realized we all never mentioned, that the show kind of never addressed? At the beginning of Season 2, they mentioned, like, we see, like, the Holy Kingdom, right? We see them in the first episode. And... We kind of get this hint that, like, the people that took over Shaltir, that got control of her, came from there.
Yeah,
because they mentioned, like, killing dragons and shit. But we didn't see them the entire rest of the 2 seasons.
No, I mean, it hinted definitely then that there are other supreme beings.
Yeah, but we had gotten no, like, whisper of anything related to that.
I mean, again, that's why I'd be willing to say that we are far from the end of Overlord.
We just got to the beginning. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like, I would not be surprised if legitimately this is the end of Act 1 of the series. Because, like, you know, and it even makes sense, right? Like, we're talking about how Ainz is already treating some of these battles as like, PvP.
Yeah, he's
what happens
for it even if he hasn't... what happens when he actually, like...
Gets
his
into
preparation
a PvP
pays
battle.
off and something happens, because, like, I mean, even with Schultz here, like, he struggled a bit, but mostly because he was trying not, or, like, you know, he was
trying to not, he didn't want to kill,
that's what I thought
he didn't want to kill her,
but,
or something along those lines. Yeah, he was trying to be nice to her.
Right, but so we haven't seen Ainz actually have to struggle, which would be something else.
You know who I'm mad we haven't seen since season 1, even though he was in the season 3 opening? Where's the guy that Ainz made that he's super embarrassed about because he's chuny as fuck?
Why was he in the opening? You're right. Actor.
Dude,
I forgot about him.
I loved him.
He technically was there because he was there during the end of season 3.
Yeah, but, like, where was his, like, actual shit? You know, like, where's his? You know, let me see him do his thing.
He was kinning his Ainz, dude.
So yeah, that was Overlord. I think we're almost done, right?
I want to pick up Evil Line. What?
Why are you acting like she's even the hottest one in her fucking, like, party? Like, fucking Ninja Bitch is right there, dude.
Well, You know?
Oh, what'd y'all think of the fucking Yandere princess?
Oh, that's what I wanted to mention, dude. Climb's like, I will do anything for my princess, and she's like, I'm gonna turn that man into a fucking dog.
I'm gonna chain him to the wall. Well, what I love is she's like, I want to chain him to a wall, but then she still wants to have kids with him, which means she wants to chain him to the wall, and then just like ride him like a fucking bicycle.
Vindy, we get it. You're horny.
While he's chained to the wall.
All your
Vindy's
furry
a-
jokes are
Vindy's-
because you want to be a dog chained to the wall
Vindy
while a
wants
girl
to be
fucks
climbed
you.
so bad.
Shut
Vindy wants to be
up.
climbed so
Shut
bad, dude.
the fuck. She's not even that hot. The princess
Vindy
bitch
wants
is
to be
nowhere
climbed
near the
so
hottest
bad.
girl. Like,
No,
okay, I would rather be emo-haired
that's
boy
what we
because his
forgot.
girl's hot as fuck.
So the leader of the Blue Rose Guild, right? It was so funny because the one chick was talking about, I was like, yeah, dude, she has that sword of like demons and stuff. I overheard her one time talking in her room, and you see the fucking flashback. She's doing some chuny shit. She's like, it's controlling me. The sword's taking over. It's so, and then she enters the room, and like they see her, like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's cool. Okay, get out of my room.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It was so funny, dude. I was like, oh my god, it's great. Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
moving on to final thoughts. I gave both seasons a 6, though I did like season 3 more. I think the problem with both is that the first arcs were the weakest ones. Like the lizard stuff got good towards the end. The first few episodes were kind of boring. The goblin stuff was boring the whole way through, but it started off with the slice of life stuff, which was cool. And then the rest of the both arcs with the dungeon and the war in season 3, and then the criminal stuff in season 2, I did like Savas. So the only reason season 3 isn't a 7 is because of the goblin arc, which is
I'm
Blue
surprised because I
Chunks.
actually liked the goblin arc. I mean, I never really talked about it. I liked seeing her kind of make friends with the goblins and see the goblins be like these sweet boys. I loved it. There was a really funny joke in the goblin arc where the goblin was trying to get emo-haired boy to pose, and he kept making poses at him when they were in the forest. And then emo-haired boy was like, oh yeah, I'm preparing him this way and this way, as the goblin was sitting there being a good boy posing at him. It was so funny. I gave season... Oh, you're done with your thoughts, right, Crafts?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed both seasons more. It's fun. The show is fun. That's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, even though like I gave season 1 a 6 and season 2 a 6, and season 3 a 7. And I definitely, even though like originally, when I started season 2 and the first, I did not like the lizard arc at all. I thought it was like mid as fuck. I was super not into it, and I was like super annoyed because I felt like, oh, we were talking about how like, oh, we're finally past kind of like the setup. We can get to the good stuff, and then I felt like I had to watch all these characters that I didn't know or really care about at all. By the end, I kind of cared about it to the point where like whenever I saw them, I was like, oh, look, it's the little lizard boys, but I wasn't like super into it. But I think especially after that. And then especially when Ainz is more present in season 3, I definitely think the show's getting like more entertaining to watch. And I definitely liked season 2 and 3 ultimately more than I thought I was going to just from season 1. Like I was expecting it to be kind of mid the whole way through. And I was surprised by how much I liked season 3. And I mean, I gave it a 7, but it surprised me. Especially because everyone talked about how bad season 3 was when it was coming out. And like I thought it was, for the most part, the best season by far.
It's my favorite season so far, you know. So,
Okay, you go. What?
are you okay? I mean, no, but are you okay?
This is so stupid. Oh my god. Why did I fucking laugh at this?
I don't know.
Anyway, I gave Overlord both seasons a 7 out of 10. So all 3 seasons of Overlord I gave 7s too. Because yeah, they're all good. Had fun times. They're very enjoyable. I just don't have anything that I would consider them like exceptional above other things.
Yeah,
if that makes
I mean, I definitely think Overlord could get that point. I definitely see Overlord being a series that could get like exceptional as it goes, right?
Yeah, I want
like,
him
I
to
could,
fucking get
I
gangbanged
could
by
very
Well, like we were
easily.
talking about
see-
last time, is there's a lot of interesting setup, but it's like this season the only reference we had, or because we were talking about how the floor masters all relate to the divine beings, and this time we only saw that with Sebas, you know,
And
and
Computus.
how. And right, so like they only came up like once, you know. So, but that's something that we still know of, and it could come up at any time. And again, if this story is just getting started, then you know who knows what it'll look like when it gets to the Act 3.
I mean, it does almost feel like, you know, there were a lot of interesting ideas in the first season. There were a bunch of other interesting ideas in these next 2 seasons. And I mean, there, some of it was the same, but there was a lot of new interesting ideas that we talked about this time. So it really does feel like all of this has been set up, and once we see the payoff for these interesting ideas, I could see it getting really good.
Well, we're never gonna see it, bro. We're never gonna see it.
You really don't think we will?
Now, maybe like in years, like how long it took between seasons 2 and 3 of Railgun,
I mean, at a certain
you could have just
point,
said seasons 1 and 2 of Overlord, because 2 and 3 both came out in 2018, right?
did they? That's nice.
Let me check.
I don't know.
Okay,
Neat.
I'm checking.
I'm legitimately super down as well for, at some point, not anytime soon, but like if it's been a year, 2 years, and we have no news of another Overlord season, just reading it. Because, I assume whenever another season comes out, we'll watch it seasonally. But
if it's like, it depends on what it's up against,
right?
But, yeah,
but yeah. Like, if it feels like we're at a point where there's just no, it feels like there's really no chance we ever see more over. Because something like Konosuba, I'm sure we'll see the later Konosuba novels.
Is it ending soon?
Oh yeah, it is.
I think the manga, the light novels are either over or about to end. But the movie is novel 5. And I think it's like 14, 15 volumes.
Okay, so
the light novel's done.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
How many volumes was it?
Let me see.
An isekai that's over. What do you
17
know?
volumes.
17. Okay. So I'm sure we'll see more of the Konosuba anime, but obviously if we don't, I'm super down to read that, and I own I own a good amount of them.
Yeah, I want to pick up Megumin and what?
Why are you saying that like Aqua's not hotter?
Because she's not.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that because we're
not.
inevitably going to discuss Konosuba, so we might as well just save it. Okay.
Yeah. The next one I think I want to do for Isekai Quartet is probably Shield Hero.
Okay. Oh, so we have talked about this, but one thing we talked about is like increasing the amount of like reading we can do on the for the backlogs and also the patron picks to 30 volumes, which would also add to like 6 volumes of a light novel, which because for Shield Hero it's 5 volumes for the first season. So, is how much.
And Shield Hero, I legitimately, I think it'd be super interesting to read it, because then it gives us an excuse to read a light novel, and then that's a way that no one
and then
here
see
has
how fast we
experienced
can do
Shield
it,
Hero.
and because I haven't really read a light novel since the Death Note one, like years ago. So and it would be nice to see how much can we actually read, and in general also like I brought up with Gar vs. Road is expanding what we can talk about on the Weeb Club.
Right.
Is while also building toward Isekai Quartet, where
when are we watching Wizards of Waverly Place?
All right, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you guys for watching.
I hate all of you. You guys hate me. It's fine.